Looks like we got a little bit of a breaking news story here, and I guess it's almost about time for the invasion of Venezuela to happen. To all to all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers, please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald John Trump. So I guess we're is it time for war? Time for the invasion of Venezuela now? Because why? Okay, the fact that unironically like travel in international airspace is being fucking shut down because of a fucking tweet is first off genuinely fucking insane to me. Yeah, no, he's just doing a little bit of trolling. That's true, Boy Meets Mini. I am doing a little trolling. Is fucking nuts to me, but that's a whole different story. The fact that he is the supposed pro peace fucking candidate, who's basically, sh- honestly, he's preparing for war. He's preparing for war. Uh, Most of the time, when international travel is closed off to a fucking country, it's when they're about to get invaded, and it looks like I guess the invasion could be potentially right around the fucking goddamn corner. Or maybe he's just doing, again, because this is the thing consistently with Trump. He does a bunch of like belligerent, idiotic nonsense because he's unfortunately the president of the United States, so he can do a bunch of belligerent, idiotic fucking nonsense for the express purpose of what? Trying to get people to come to the table to fucking negotiate. It's very bullish and mafioso esque, and not really conducive of making, I don't know, like effective outcomes for people to want to come to the table to negotiate with you. But, well, to be a bullish fucking moron with the nuclear codes must be quite the fucking goddamn privilege. It's fucking nonsensical, obviously. But, yeah, dude, this is really, really a good thing. But, yeah, Trump says Venezuelan airspace should be considered closed. I wonder what's in this video. I'm curious.
Venezuelans in Caracas expressed discontent after U.S. President Donald Trump on Saturday declared that the airspace above and surrounding the country should be considered closed in its entirety.
I believe Nicolas Maduro himself has said that uh, the international sort of flights that have been coming in should come back and not to believe any of these fucking like idiotic provocations coming in from the United States of America. But here's the thing, it's Trump. You can't really rely on any of his fucking word on really much of anything because he will just like say a bunch of random shit. Who knows if he'll follow through with it, but you can't fucking trust that. Like, you really can't trust that because, again, like, grandpa, old man, his brain is leaking out of his ears. He may say one thing at one moment and then he'll say something else at another moment, but you can't trust him. You can't fucking trust him whatsoever. Like, you can't believe a single word that comes out of his mouth because who knows if it's real or if it's fucking false at this point. Like, you can't, like, would you be really willing to fucking risk that shit? Probably not. So, why risk it, right?
Oye, me parece algo.
I think it's unfair, says resident Manuel Romero, adding that, quote, Venezuelans are not to blame, but they are the ones who pay the consequences.
Nos afecta bastante porque
Another resident, Carmen Castillo, says it affects us a lot
familiares aquí
because many people abroad wanted to come home for Christmas, while others in Venezuela had plans to travel elsewhere to see family. Trump announced the closure in a Truth Social post, but gave no further details. Venezuela's government condemned his comments, describing them as a colonialist threat against the country's sovereignty and incompatible with international law.
Because, again, quick reminder, the only reason why Trump is doing this, and this is probably the 50th time I've mentioned this talking point, but I'm going to keep mentioning it over and over again, but because this is probably the best explanation to talk about why he's behaving in this way. It's because of the failure of his fucking coup attempt that he tried during his first term with Juan Guaido and three other dudes in basically a fucking trench coat getting spotted out by some fucking Venezuelan fishermen, for fuck's sake, in order to try to coup the fucking government, to coup the fucking Nicolas Maduro's fucking government. And that was such an utter, complete disaster and a failure, botched from the beginning. It was never going to fucking work. because it was just a disorganized, poorly thought out, and planned fucking mess. And that he got salty about it, and then as a result decided to slap harsh sanctions on the Venezuelan economy, on oil products specifically, and it caused the economy to go into hyperinflation, which also subsequently caused the Venezuelan migrant wave that happened throughout America and in other parts of South America and Central America. Buddy, it turns out actions, Trump, have consequences.
U.S. officials contacted by Reuters said they were surprised by Trump's announcement and are unaware of any ongoing U.S. military operations to enforce the closure. The
Jesus
Pentagon
Christ.
did not respond to requests for comment, and the White House did not provide any further explanation.
Okay, so if I were to, based off of that, then it's just he's just saying random bullshit. He's just saying stuff to say stuff, right? Because I know Nicolas Maduro recently said that he was willing to meet up and talk with the Trump administration, right? He said that recently, and then he tweets that shit. Is he trying to like hurry up the process? That's like really the only if I want to be charitable to the Trump administration for 1 second, the only reason as to why I think he could be fucking saying this is to try to hurry up with the fucking negotiations. But it's just like, even if that's the case, this is still incredibly fucking psychotic and doesn't really justify any of the fucking actions being taken here. This is still insane to me, dude.
Saturday's announcement follows months of U.S. strikes on alleged drug boats off Venezuela's coast and is Washington's latest way of ramping up pressure on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, who the Trump administration has portrayed as having a role in supplying illegal drugs that have killed Americans.
Nonsensical claim, obviously. There is no evidence to suggest that Nicolas Maduro has any connection with the drug cartels that are operating within Venezuela. If Trump cared so much about the drug cartels that are operating within Venezuela, maybe he should take off some of the sanctions that he put on the fucking economy, allowed the material conditions of the country to get better, and as a result of the improvements of the material conditions in that country, then there wouldn't be as many cartels. Unfortunately, that's like cucked liberal sociology talking, and that's cucked in fucking liberal. And so, therefore, we can't be doing that in my heckin'-based Trump administration. Fucking stupid, dude.
Maduro has denied having any links to the illegal drug trade. Reuters has reported that options under U.S. consideration included attempting to overthrow Maduro, and that the
because in reality, he said it himself on the campaign trail that Venezuela has a lot of oil. I want to get the oil. I thought that those sanctions were going to destroy their economy and it was going to be over from there and I'd be able to go get the oil, but it didn't happen. He unironically said that. It's extremely obvious and clear what he wants to do. Like, he just wants to go in and occupy the country to get the oil. That's it.
The U.S. military is poised for a new phase of operations after a massive military buildup in the Caribbean. In Puerto Rico on Saturday, U.S. military aircraft were seen active at the former Roosevelt Roads Naval Base.
Of course.
Trump told military service members earlier this week that the U.S. would very soon begin land operations to stop suspected Venezuelan drug traffickers.
Yeah, he said he wants to do strikes on the drugs. They're not coming over the land because they're not coming over the sea now. Despite the fact that he said that illegal migrants crossings have gone down to fucking zero, which is why it's non-fucking-sensical then. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Saturday the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela should be considered closed in its entirety, but gave no further details, stirring anxiety and confusion in Caracas. U.S. officials contacted by Reuters were surprised by Trump's announcement and unaware of any ongoing U.S. military operations to enforce a closure of Venezuelan airspace. The Pentagon did not respond to requests to comment, of course. White House did not provide any further explanation. Statement Saturday, Venezuela's government condemned Trump's comments, describing them as a colonialist threat, true, against the South American country's sovereignty and incompatible with international law. Again, like I said before, Trump himself said, I want to get the oil. I just want the oil, folks. U.S. President's posts represent a hostile, unilateral, and arbitrary act incompatible with the principles of international law. David Deptula, a retired lieutenant general who commanded a no-fly zone over northern Iraq in 1998 and 1999, said Trump's announcements raised more questions than it answers. Imposing a no-fly zone over Venezuela could require significant resources and planning, depending on the goals of the airspace closure. Also, declaring a no-fly zone on a fucking country that is an act of war. Like, I guess now you guys are actually at war with Venezuela now because he, by tweet for fuck's sake, which is ridiculous to say, because again, to implement a no-fly zone over a country is a fucking act of war. You can't just fucking do that for no reason. It's nonsensical. Devil's in the details. The Trump administration has been weighing Venezuela-related options to combat what it has portrayed as Maduro's role in supplying illegal drugs that have killed Americans. Again, no instance of that whatsoever. The socialist Venezuelan president has denied any links to the illegal drug trade. Reuters has reported the options on the U.S. consider include an attempt to overthrow Maduro, and that the U.S. military is poised for a new phase of operations after massive military buildup in the Caribbean for nearly 3 months of strikes on suspected drug boats off the Venezuela's coast. Trump has also authorized covert CIA operations in the country. And we know that recently, I think it was about a week ago, there have been joint chiefs of staff of the army going in to not Turks and Caicos, but Trinidad and Tobago, where there has been an amassing of U.S. troops, again, about 7 miles off of the coast of Venezuela, doing a bunch of military exercises, and there has been a lot of military exercises being carried out in also Puerto Rico as well. So, dude, they're it's ratcheting up. I think they might be trying to do war with Venezuela, and I've unironically said this, and I do believe this. Like, if they actually go through with this, it would be like Iraq 3 Electric Boogaloo. It would be a complete quagmire and a disaster for the United States, which is why Trump wanting to do this is perfect for him, because I love quagmires and just doing random bullshit, because again, like I said before, the only reason why he's doing this is because he wants the oil. Maduro, in power since 2013, has contended that Trump is seeking to oust him and that Venezuelan citizens and the country's military will resist any such attempt. Trump told military service members earlier this week that the U.S. would very soon begin land operations to stop suspected Venezuelan drug traffickers. Again, it's nonsensical, because like I said before, it's like, oh, are you going to start bombing a bunch of people who you said is not coming up to the border to stop a bunch of people that are bringing in drugs illegally, but you said that there is no illegal migrations going on in the United States of America. So again, who exactly is bringing in drugs into the United States of America illegally? Like, it's an excuse. He wants to start bombing the shit out of fucking Venezuela. Caracas residents who spoke to Reuters criticized Trump's announcement. Think it's unfair because people need to travel to work, to do business, to see their family. Us Venezuelans aren't at fault for this. Carmela Castillo, a lawyer, says she's worried that people won't be able to visit their families outside of Venezuela. The Venezuelan government said the U.S. was demonstrating colonial ambitions in Latin America and called on the international community to reject what it described as an immoral act of aggression. Iran, a Venezuelan ally that was bombed by the U.S. earlier this year, denounced Trump's announcement as a serious breach of international law and a threat to global aviation safety, according to Iranian news agency IRNA. Wonder if the Pope has said anything? I don't know if the Pope has said anything. He probably will say something about this. I mean, it's probably just going to be like a standard sort of thing saying like, yeah, war is actually kind of bad, guys. But yeah, he's just going to probably say like, yeah, we don't agree with this. This is actually really bad, guys. Trump's announcement also amounted to a unilateral suspension of the migrant deportation flights on which nearly 14,000 Venezuelans have recently returned home from the U.S. The Venezuelan government statement added, flights have been taking place twice a week in recent months amid the Trump administration immigration crackdown. Well, so much for continuing with your immigration crackdown, making it fucking more difficult for yourself for no reason, despite the fact that, again, you're the reason for as to why there is a large wave of Venezuelan migrants that came up into the United States of America because of your stupid coup attempt, so cope and seethe about it. Maduro and high-ranking officials in his government, some combination of whom appear almost daily on state television, have decried U.S. imperialism in their recent comments. but do not single out Trump by name, as the Venezuelan government may be trying to de-escalate tensions, according to security and diplomatic sources. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio had previously been the focus of Venezuelan government ire, but even references to him have decreased in recent weeks. Oh yeah, Marco Rubio has been wanting war with Venezuela, I think, for the past 10 years at this point. He consistently fucking talks about it, and talks about how Venezuelan narco traffickers exist and bring in fucking tons of drugs and stuff, and they need to be stopped about this. It's so fucking stupid, dude. The U.S. boat bombings have led to stepped up surveillance by authorities in the remote northeastern Venezuelan state of Sucre? Sure. With increased patrols by security agencies and ruling party supporters, stoking fear among locals, 4 residents and 1 recent visitor said. GPS signals in Venezuela have also been affected in recent weeks amid the U.S. buildup. Trump's announcement on Saturday followed a warning last week from the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration that major airlines face a potentially hazardous situation when flying over Venezuela due to the worsening security situation and heightened military activity in or around the country. Venezuela revoked operating rights for 6 major international airlines that has suspended flights to the country after the FAA warning. So yeah, I think it's I think you guys are about to go to war. I'm really failing to see this as anything else besides just a active provocation and justification for war. I can't really think of anything else, I'll be quite honest. It's genuinely insane. You guys are going to have another fucking giant quagmire. I want to say that I'm not really surprised because, again, a lot of this has just been caused by Trump himself. He's the one who's just doing all of this actively for, no fucking reason. Again, because of his botched fucking Venezuelan coup attempt. That's why he's doing this. Because he's still salty about that. And because he himself on the campaign trail has literally said, I want the oil. I want to go get the oil. I see oil. I want to go get it, folks. Liquid gold is what they call it. That's what they call oil. Very often, folks, they call it liquid gold. And he said that the sanctions that he put on was supposed to cause the country to collapse and make it easier to go get the fucking oil. So it's really obvious. It's really clear what this is all about. It's just a attempt by the president of the United States to do fucking naked imperialism, to try to fucking conquer the country of Venezuela. And for what purpose exactly? For all the times that the U.S. and Bush gets rightfully fucking memed about wanting to go to the Middle East for fucking oil. Unironically, we have, the reincarnation of George Bush, but turned the dial up to 11 or something and is significantly more stupid than that. So yeah, this is just all for a war for oil, and he just wants to claim a bunch of fucking oil in Venezuela for the United States of America, because I think even in interviews, some of his aides and people who are part of the administration have said themselves if we get the oil in Venezuela, that's about $1 trillion of benefit for the U.S. economy. So it's obvious what this is all about. It's all about war for the sake of war in order to claim more fucking resources, and it's just a naked example of U.S. fucking imperialism. Don't think there's really much else to say besides free Venezuela. Yeah, free Venezuela from this attempt at fucking U.S. fucking imperialism.